Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Big questions being raised over the last couple of weeks about the present format here in the CDL. Lots of pro players deeply frustrated with what they are playing right now and also what it means for some of the other pros that may still be trying to get some practice in. Dashy is saying, look, why are there no pro players playing 8 right now? Most of these guys are terrible, their teams are terrible. Do you want to make champs or do you not? What is going on again with the work ethic in this league? Very much interested in your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, I thought this is kind of crazy. Nature Adidas rivalry collab coming on May the 31st. So they're dropping a sneaker. Now, I'm not a big sneaker guy, to be fair. I feel like they could have done a bit more with this, to be perfectly honest. But they've got some sort of pattern there on the front and the back edge, which is kind of like the 100 Thieves-esque pattern. I don't really know. It's, yeah, it's pretty basic collab. To be fair, it looks kind of nice. I know some people really like this stuff, but I feel like maybe you could have done a bit more. Anyway, it says Nature on the back. That's actually kind of clean, to be fair. So certainly seeing some mixed opinions in the community on this one. I guess the question is how much are they going to cost, right? Because, you know, people talk about 100T merch prices being pretty high. I guess we'll see. It's been, obviously this is coming soon. I don't think it's been, at least as of recording, officially kind of announced by either party. Maybe we know by the time this video is going live, which it will of course do later on today as always. But let's talk about the state of this league. Before I share these clips here from Scump and from Octane on their frustrations with the amount of online qualifiers that we play, I wanted to have a look at what the pros had to say on this topic, because Easy Mac, and what a job he's done again, reached out to all of the players and said, hey, do you want to get involved in basically a survey and just, tick a few boxes? We'd appreciate. So we reached out to like 50 players. I think we got maybe 38, 39 responses. So, pretty good actually, all things considered. Getting like 40 pros to get back to you on this is very commendable. So this is what they had to say on the league format. And well, let's just actually start from the top here with the following. Question 1, on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you grade this season's format? Well, I mean, yeah, let's see what we have. And we've got 2 people voting 1. Most people are voting 3, 4, 5, and then there's no votes for 8 or higher, which is actually kind of impressive. Maybe it's not a surprise, but the highest that anyone voted was 7. There was no 8s, 9s, or 10s. There was a couple of 1s. The average was a 4.5. So yeah, out of 10, this season format gets a 4.5 from the pros. It's not a great assessment, is it, on the decision of the CDL? We then have the question on what season that you competed or watched had the best format. Now, not many pros were around in World War II, and to be fair, not many of the pros were even playing in Black Ops 4. But many watched that year, of course. Maybe some of the pro players, they didn't even watch World War II because they're too young. Like if you're 18, World War II season was, you were like 11, 12, 13, something like that. So maybe those guys didn't even watch it back then. Black Ops 4, and World War II was a good season, by the way. But Black Ops 4 was maybe considered to be the gold standard for a couple of reasons, to be fair. Just to have a look at, this is this season's format, and this is like the entire graphic for like the whole season, which is just so depressing, right? I mean, have a look at this. It doesn't inspire you, does it? Let's be real. Major 1 qualifiers, LAN tournament, and that is what it is. This, by comparison, was what the season schedule looked like back in Black Ops 4. Now, we did have that year a LAN league. It was not an online league, so if we're going to do a league format, which I don't know if we need, I've talked about my preference would be do tournaments as often as you possibly can, and on the weekends where there aren't tournaments, run 2Ks, 5Ks, basically online tournaments. So pretty much all the COD action we get is tournament style rather than league style. I don't think the league style is necessary, but I can see that it does have its place. Black Ops 3 had an online league, many other games had an online league, and it can work in a better format than what we currently have, I'm not going to lie. And maybe one of the ways you could do it is by having Alpha and Bravo and doing an online league, but a couple of games going on simultaneously. They've never wanted to do that because they don't want to devalue teams that have paid 25 million, but that money's now getting refunded. So, I think it opens the door to some of these better ideas. But there was a Pro League from February to July back in Black Ops 4, but it was a LAN league that was set the seeding. Playoffs were happening throughout the season. But look at all this stuff, right? You've got the open qualifiers because there was the open circuit as well. This year was basically pseudo-franchising. And honestly, I would not be surprised if this is the format that people are targeting, and even the league might be targeting, because this was kind of half franchise. The teams were partnered in some sense, which is kind of what we have now in Valorant and what we have in Halo, where the teams kind of get chosen, but they don't necessarily pay to get in. And therefore it it does open the door to an open circuit continuing to some degree. But these are all the events during the season. You know, Las Vegas, obviously there was a Pro League qualifier at the start of the season. Then we had Fort Worth, we had London, we had Anaheim, we had Miami, and then of course we had Champs in... And then of course Champs was in August, right? So you actually look at this format and you see that the first things that were played, 2Ks, 1Ks, you know, whatever tournaments, back in November, the season finished in August, right? Which is plenty of months of action and more months of action than we get today. And just to look, by the way, at those pools, for example, for Anaheim, these were your 16 partner teams. And this is how it would go. Effectively, partner teams, looking back at it in hindsight, you'd have to qualify. But once you were in, but you could buy out a spot. I think like FaZe basically bought their way back into the league at some point. So these were the teams, these were the rosters, of course, looked back on very fondly and for good reason. So yeah, a few other interesting ones. What tournament format is best? Most pro players preferring the round robin and double elim bracket, which is basically what we used to do. So instead of doing the online qualifiers, you just do round robin at the event to set the seeding, and then you do a double elim bracket, which I think is definitely the way to go. What match style do you prefer? Black Ops 4 style, MLG style, or CDL style? Well, not many votes for that. The MLG style, where you do these online qualifiers and stuff, and it would actually set for separate playoffs rather than being part of the regular season, that got slightly more votes. You know, there's talk about pool play, of course, returning, talk about how many teams should Champs have if there's a 12-team league. Most people voting for 8, which I think is fair. I will say I think the pros are faded for this one because they've been asked the question, if it's a 16-team league, how many make Champs? Most have gone for 12, which is like, 12 is an awful number, right? We know this in the league. It's awful for setting a bracket and all this. And I think even one player mentions that what they would like to have is 16 teams with challenges included as well, which I think is, you know, what we used to have back in the day, and I would certainly prefer that. Because 16, you can actually form a proper bracket, or what we used to do back in the day was 32 teams for Champs. And I liked this. Now, I know that it's kind of playoffs nowadays, but I preferred it when it was Champs, and it was a real celebration of COD. You had 32 teams there. It wasn't just the Pro League playoffs that we'd had a few weeks prior, it was the World Championship. There were still the same teams as favourites, but there were way more teams there, and way more teams in with a shot to win. I don't know if they're ever going to do that again, but it's something to consider. Talk about a players' association, 53% of players say that they would join it, 39% of players say that they were interested, but maybe, 8% said they were not interested, and also 89% of players said they would volunteer their time to help the developers develop the new game. You can debate whether they would or not, but still a heavy percentage would do. It's very interesting content here, and 50% of the players said that they did have faith the CDL would perform a better format next season. 45% of players said that they did not. So I wanted to share a couple of clips here, certainly from the Dashy side on kind of format stuff, but also on why these guys aren't playing the game.
Are there any good games outside the top 4? I mean, there's like potential every now and then, but for the most part, no. I don't know, dude. Online COD sucks, man. I'm tired of watching it, to be honest. Like, I love Call of Duty, obviously. Like, it fucking duh. But, like, I'm at my wit's end with these league matches, dude. I really am. This shit is horrible. It's just like, dude, if you guys remember that era conversation, if you guys watched the show last night, about, like, what era it was harder to win in, and, like, I was of the opinion that winning is the same difficulty in every era, and Tommy's moronic chat decided that that was a bad take. I like say it and talk to Tommy's chat for a second because I was like genuinely curious. I was like, what separates, or like what would make winning in one era more difficult than winning in another era? And everyone's answers were like how much you have to play and like the level of competition. And I'm like, dude, I'm sitting here watching like Miami and like LAG play COD, and we're gonna talk about the level of competition nowadays being higher. Like that shit doesn't make sense to me, bro. Shit makes no sense. Like these matches and these teams are so fucking dog shit, dude. It's actually like, oh man, it's so.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. Are y'all sick of the online matches, or are you guys still rocking with them? Oh my god. Okay, so you guys are just completely sick of the online matches. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like seeing that. I don't like seeing that. But we got one more week. Major the following week. So we're actually. Dude, I have like a 2-week window of just madness, or 2-month window of just madness, and it pretty much starts like when I go to Toronto. Just in terms of like traveling and stuff that I'm doing, we're obviously getting married. It's gonna be a crazy little stretch.
I don't mind scrimming this game. Like I saw somebody say that. I don't mind scrimming this game. I actually like playing this game. See, this might sound insane. I actually enjoy this game, but the only thing I don't like is one. if I play the game, I'm playing. That's what I'm playing after scrim. I'm playing against hackers, so I play ranked. The game's fucking dead, and no one's playing the game, which is also insane to me. Like, there's no one grinding. Like, people don't give a fuck about making champs. This is what's going through my head. Like, if I'm 5 through 11, 5 through 12, I'm on the game every day. I'm looking for 8s. You know what I mean? I'm getting fucking railed. Let me get in the fucking 8s lobby. You know what I mean?
They push that lead together so brilliantly. Here we go. Real keeping the spree going. Not that it matters past 6.
Like, it's just, there's nothing to play.
Now, Nestriel says no thank you, mate. Holds on to his vehicle on the outside pool.
Like, I'm trying to play the game.
So this is a big talking point basically every single year, and even in a game like Cold War, which was good by modern standards, I think there was still the same conversations on, for some reason, the game kind of dying out at some point of the year. We see this every season for one reason or another, that the players just, get fed up with the game, and they just decide not to grind it much anymore, and it's happened now for some time. The start of this game, it was popping, as it does every year. BPL was going on, of course, Ranked comes out, that was pretty popular. It's got its problems, but the likes of Draz, the likes of Dashy and others, they're trying to find a way to get some 8s going, right? Because they want to play them. Not every player likes playing 8. Simp and Abizi, for example, Simp has said that he doesn't think it helps his play. So while he may grind, he's probably not going to grind 8s. But you can very much argue there are players in this league that are not playing well. Do they just get on, play scrims, and then go off and chill for the rest of the day? Like, how much do you want it, you know? And that's the point that Dashy is making, is that, you know, he enjoys this game, but he wants to play some 8s. Like, what's going on? Why are these pros not doing it? Do you want to make champs or do you not? And this is always the discussion on players being, you know, happy with a paycheck, just riding out the format until the end of their days in the league, effectively, because they can sit there, they can, you know, not even grind that hard. Do they really want to win these guys? And that's the point. Like, if you're not playing Pro 8s, and you're not playing well, and your team isn't playing well, then, you know, are you really as committed as you might be? And maybe you're spending that time you'd play Pro 8s, playing scrims, extra practice maybe, playing search and destroy challenge with your team, which is better practice, watching VOD. So if those things are true, then fine. But if they're not true, which I don't think they are for the vast majority of teams, then are they just not as committed as they should be? And this is true for many players. Some players are committed. Draz, I mean, like, this is the thing. Draz has been struggling to find 8s and put them together. And if Draza's not getting 8s going, then good luck, right? Because this guy's the chief grinder. And I mean, have a look at these teams. Like, apart from the top 3, everyone else has been pretty bad. I mean, Subliners, compared to their expectations, they've underperformed. And then the entire rest of the league is in a fight for the World Championship. Even 5th is far from safe. They're barely ahead of the cutoff, and by the end of this event, they may be in that mix. So I'm very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Just one final interesting stat here from Brian. Players who have won a championship with the highest percentage of their teammates. Simp leads the line here by, well, quite some way, because he's won with everyone. Every single player that he has teamed with in his career, he's won an event with. He hasn't teamed with that many, but that kind of makes sense. For example, Scump is down here at 5th, so 21 of his 29 teammates he won with. Big Timer, 2nd with 10 out of 11. Insight is here, Scrap is here, of course, as well, with 4 out of 5. Nothing with Standy, of course, when he was on that roster, and then further on and down from there. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.